Hello friends, today we are going to read My Father's Dragon, chapters 6 and 7, and this book was written by Ruth Stiles Gannett. Chapter 6, My Father Meets a Rhinoceros. My father soon found a trail leading away from the clearing. All sorts of animals might be using it too, but he decided to follow the trail no matter what, because it might lead to the dragon. He kept a sharp lookout in front and behind and went on. Just as he was feeling quite safe, he came around a curve right behind two wild boars. One of them was saying to the other, "Did you know that the tortoises thought they saw Monkey carrying his sick grandmother to the doctor last night? But Monkey's grandmother died a week ago, so they must have seen something else. I wonder what it was." "I told you there was an invasion afoot," said the other boar, "and I intend to find out what it is. I simply can't stand invasions." "Me neither," said a little voice. Me neither." And my father knew that the mouse was there too. "Well," said the first boar, "you search the trail up this way to the dragon. I'll go back down the other way through the big clearing, and we'll send Mouse to watch the ocean rocks in case an invasion should decide to go away before we find it." So there are the boars and the mouse. My father hid behind a mahogany tree just in time, and the first boar walked right past him. My father waited for the other boar to get a head start on him, but he didn't wait very long because he knew that when the first boar saw the tigers chewing gum in the clearing, he'd be even more suspicious. Soon the trail crossed a little brook, and my father, who by this time was very thirsty, stopped to get a drink of water. He still had on his rubber boots, so he waded into a little pool of water and was stooping down when something quite sharp picked him up by the seat of his pants and shook him very hard. "Don't you know that's my private weeping pool?" said a deep, angry voice. My father couldn't see who was talking because he was hanging in the air right over the pool, but he said, "Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't know that everybody had a private weeping pool." What's got him hanging there? It's a rhinoceros. That's kind of funny. "Everybody doesn't," said the angry voice, "but I do because I have such a big thing to weep about, and I drown everybody I find using my weeping pool." Oh no. With that, the animal tossed my father up and down over the water. What is it that you weep so much about?" asked my father, trying to get his breath, and he thought about all the things he had in his pack. "Oh, I have many things to weep about, but the biggest thing is the color of my tusk." My father squirmed every which way trying to see his tusk, but it was through the seat of his pants where he couldn't possibly see it. "When I was a young rhinoceros, my tusk was pearly white," said the animal. And then my father knew he was hanging from the rhinoceros's tusk by the seat of his pants. "But now it has turned yellow in my old age, and I find it ugly. You see, everything else about me is ugly, but when I had a beautiful tusk, I didn't worry so much about the rest. Now that my tusk is ugly too, I can't sleep at night thinking about how ugly I am, and I weep all the time. But why should I be telling you these things? I caught you using my pool, and now I'm going to drown you." "Wait a minute, Rhinoceros," said my father. "I have some things that will make your tusk all white and beautiful again. Just let me down, and I'll give them to you." The Rhinoceros said, "You do? I can hardly believe it. Well, now I'm so excited." And he put my father down and danced around in a circle, while my father got out the tube of toothpaste and the toothbrush. It was a really good idea to bring those, huh? Just like the gum. "Now," said my father, "just move your tusk a little nearer, please, and I'll show you how to begin." My father wet the brush in the pool, squeezed a dab of toothpaste, and rubbed it very hard in one tiny spot. He told the rhinoceros to wash it off, and when the pool was calm again, he told the rhinoceros to look in the water and see how white the little spot was. It was hard to see in the dim light of the jungle, but sure enough, the spot shone pearly white, just like new. The rhinoceros was so pleased that he grabbed the toothbrush and began scrubbing violently, forgetting all about my father. Just then, my father heard hoof steps, and he jumped back behind the rhinoceros. It was the boar coming back from the big clearing where the tigers were chewing gum. The boar looked at the rhinoceros, at the toothbrush, at the tube of toothpaste, and then scratched his ear on a tree. Tell me, Rhinoceros," he said, "where did you get that fine tube of toothpaste and toothbrush?" "Too busy," said the rhinoceros, and he went on brushing as hard as he could. There's the rhinoceros brushing his tusk. It's pretty cool. The boar sniffed angrily and trotted down the trail toward the dragon, muttering to himself, very suspicious. Tiger's too busy chewing gum. Rhinoceros too busy brushing his tusk. Must get a hold of that invasion. Don't like it one bit, not one bit. It's upsetting everybody terribly. Wonder what it's doing here anyway. And now for chapter 7. My father meets a lion. My father waved goodbye to the rhinoceros. There he's waving goodbye. Who was much too busy to notice, got a drink farther down the brook and waded back to the trail. He hadn't gone very far when he heard an angry animal roaring. Ding blast it, I told you not to go blackberrying yesterday. Won't you ever learn? What will your mother say? My father crept along and peered into a small clearing just ahead. A lion was prancing about, clawing at his mane, which was all snarled and full of blackberry twigs. The more he clawed, the worse it became, and the madder he grew, and the more he yelled, because he was yelling at himself the whole time. My father could see that the tail went through the clearing, so he decided to crawl around the edge in the underbrush and not disturb the lion. He crawled, and the yelling grew louder and louder. Just as he was about to reach the trail on the other side, the yelling suddenly stopped. My father looked around and saw the lion glaring at him. The lion charged and skidded to a stop a few feet away. Oh, it's quite a lion. Who are you? The lion yelled at my father. My name is Elmer Elevator. Where do you think you're going? I'm going home, said my father. That's what you think, said the lion. Ordinarily, I'd save you for tea, but I happen to be upset and hungry, and I'm going to eat you right now. And he picked up my father in his front paws to feel how fat he was. My father said, oh, please, lion, before you eat, tell me why you were so upset today. It's my mane, said the lion, as he was figuring out how many bites a little boy would make. You see what a dreadful mess it is, and I don't seem to be able to do anything about it. My mother is coming over on the dragon this afternoon, and if she sees me this way, I'm afraid she'll stop my allowance. She can't stand messy manes. But I'm going to eat you now, so it won't make any difference to you. Wait a minute, said my father, and I'll give you the things you need to make your mane all tidy and beautiful. I have them here in my backpack. You do, said the lion. Well, give them to me, and perhaps I'll save you for afternoon tea. And he put my father down on the ground. My father opened the pack and took out the comb and the brush and the 7 hair ribbons of different colors. Look, he said, I'll show you what to do on your forelock while you can watch me. First you brush it a while, then you comb, then you brush again until all the twigs and snarls are gone. Then you divide it in 3, you braid it like this, and tie a ribbon at the end. As my father was doing this, the lion watched carefully and began to look happier. When my father tied the ribbon, he was all smiles. Oh, that's wonderful, really wonderful, said the lion. Let me have the comb and brush and see if I can do it. So my father gave him the comb and brush, and the lion began busily grooming his mane. As a matter of fact, he was so busy, he didn't even know when my father left. And that's the end of chapter 7, and we'll continue with chapter 8 and maybe chapter 9 tomorrow. Take care, guys.